right, so Kyle, we were just downstairs running a camera down there into the basement.
Yeah.
And what happened?
We were checking to make sure the camera was steady on a chair, and Linda and I were down there, and I actually looked at Linda and I said, I think the boys are back, because Jeff and David had to run back to the campsite to handle something real fast, and I heard some conversation, so we came upstairs to greet them at the door, and they're not back yet. So
That's pretty interesting.
pretty interesting.
Well, we have set up our base station here. We're kind of in the dining room area. There's a nice dining room here. So we're going to get things set up. We have 3 short cords that we're going to use, and we're going to take 2 of them up to the 2nd floor. And then the third, I think we're going to run to the 3rd floor if it'll reach all that far, which I think it probably will. And the other one is going all the way down into the basement. So I think we'll be good with all of that.
So we have the camera set up here, and if we look, Linda and Kyle were setting up these cameras. Well, David and I had to run some errands, but in this top camera, it's down here in the basement, which is a cool area. It's where they did the therapeutic bath treatments down there. Different methods that they use, which we'll talk about when we get down there. But we want to see if anything manifests in that area. In this room here, that's where it's believed that there's a spirit of an old man still lingering there. An old man who had rickets. And we want to keep an eye on that area to see if we pick up his spirit in there. It's also a very thick area. Like when you walk in there, the air's kind of thick a little bit. So we just want to keep an eye on that. Down here, these 2 rooms, this is a table where they have done seances and such, various people that have been here. And we want to keep an eye on that to see if anything kicks up at that table. There were also some people that don't realize they have, or they're not as open about certain things that are going on, and when they sit at that table and conduct the seance, they start opening up a little more. So we want to keep an eye on that area, see if anything manifests. And as well as one of my favorites, the doll room. And you can see we have all these dolls, and the way the camera's angled, we put it so that you can see the dolls in the crib. At the same time, you can see some of the ones that are on the floor and these balls right here that are down here. We want to keep an eye and see if anything moves. Several of those dolls are reported to be haunted, and we want to see if anything happens with them.
And what was that exactly that you had moved?
That I had moved? This is a kickstart.
Oh, is that the black cherry kind?
This is the black cherry kind. They did not have the midnight grape.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
A lot of them don't.
Right, certain things. I don't know if it's just harder to locate on the res, as the gentleman at the gas station called it, or if they just were sold out. But nonetheless. Alright, so we're going up to the attic. And I think what we're going to do is start at the top and work our way down. That's Kyle's bear, hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully, yeah. Pretty sure.
I'll tell you what, some of the creepiest places in this place are the staircases.
Yeah. And this 3rd floor. This is a creepy ass place.
Yes, the 3rd floor is very unsettling.
Don't like it in here. Makes me feel really.
It is kind of heavy in here, isn't it?
It's not. It's like I can't. It's like I can't breathe real well.
It's like death in here.
It makes me kind of sick to my stomach and makes me really dizzy.
Mine's like all in my chest. Like it's hard to take a deep breath.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was just from ascending like 20 flights of stairs.
Well, you know what?
No, because I mean, it's every time I walk into this room. Now, if I walk out of the room, I'm fine. But I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
feel
still
like I
sound
can't
like you
even
can't
breathe
catch your
well.
breath.
Yeah. No.
Okay, we're gonna try something a little bit different up here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the spirit box. But when we play the spirit box, I'm actually gonna play it through this radio. And we're gonna hear it coming through Kyle's radio. Now I think this might be twofold. Because I think for one, if there's a spirit that can communicate through the frequency of this radio or through the receiver, it will do so. And of course, we'll hear it come through her walkie-talkie. But at the same time, I think it gives any spirits that may be here the opportunity to communicate through this walkie-talkie, either through the immediate signal that it's picking up between mine and hers, or through being that close to the speaker.
Yeah.
So let's see what that sounds like. It's going to kind of sound like an echo, perhaps, but I'm not 100% sure. It's going to take a second to get it right. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't have the radios too close to each other. So that way we'll get too much feedback. Do you hear that?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like walking. I've been hearing it.
There's somebody walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
Let's go out and have a look and see what's
Do you want to go down one flight?
Yeah, that creaking noise, of course, is wrong.
I'm still rolling.
Yeah, keep it rolling just in case.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, is it the full spectrum?
Yeah.
Hey Linda,
Yes.
can you silence the whatever that beeping is for a second?
Sure.
What we want to do is make sure that it's not a sound that's coming from somewhere else because of the acoustics in this place.
It's definitely footsteps though.
Do you hear something further down there?
I heard what might have been something.
What did it sound like to you?
I keep hearing.
Like a rustling around?
I didn't hear that. What I heard, I keep hearing like walking. But also take into consideration rustling could be pigeons
That's
because of the tarp. So the rustling, attribute that maybe to wildlife. But
Yeah.
anything walking, a pigeon doesn't
No,
go.
a pigeon doesn't walk.
There's no way.
I'm walking.
Do you still hear it up there?
I just thought I heard one, but it could have been you moving.
It was one light thump.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
But nothing like what we were hearing, a continuous, like, somebody walking the stairs, kind of, nothing like that.
You don't think it's anything to do with the rain, the roof, the
No,
rain?
because I think
The
we would still be
footsteps?
hearing it.
Yeah, and it wouldn't sound like. But my shoes aren't that heavy.
I know,
Yeah,
and that's
it
exactly
sounds-
what we
yeah.
were hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very light footsteps. And it sounded like it went all the way down this.
Yeah, it sounded like it was on the wood. It didn't sound like it was on this floor. It sounded like it was on the wood.
Right. Yeah, it definitely wasn't at the top there. It sounded like it was.
Yeah, and very light.
This is the only staircase. Is there 2 staircases?
No,
There's
three.
multiple staircases.
Yeah.
Is there another one down that end of the hallway?
There's one, if you come out this staircase and you go back to where that table is, that kitchen that's to the right of that table, that room,
Uh-huh.
there's a
There's a
staircase to the left.
staircase there.
But there's no more that come up to this level, right?
No, just the one we came up on.
But I'm not sure we would have been able to hear it as loud as we did if it
And
was on that
that's- yeah.
staircase.
That's what I wanted to say. Cause,
Yeah.
because if there was another one like right down the end of that hallway coming up to here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is
we
that
would've heard
floor, is the foyer, like the landing floor, is that wood as well? That's what it sounded like right there, that.
it. Yeah,
Stepping
maybe a
on
little
the
bit
wood.
lighter.
Yeah. And you didn't hear the shoes stick up. It was just like the wood.
Let's listen. Let's listen here for a second. I'll tell you what's an eerie sight is when you come around this corner and you see that doll sitting right there.
I don't even like looking at that.
Isn't that just like...
I don't even like looking at that.
Especially when you forget it's there. See, my thought was this. Do you hear this sound in here?
No, there's no way.
That's not loud enough.
I don't-
There's
I
no
don't
way that's
think-
loud enough though to hear from what
I don't think so. And if you listen to how. Now this is gonna obviously be artificial, but listen to this. I'm still rolling, but because this seemed pretty important. But
Yeah, I think it is.
listen to this. Even if I go like that, or even a flick, or even just the rain, that doesn't sound like this.
Yeah, it was definitely not. Yeah, it was definitely not this.
It was definitely like a step.
Right.
And I heard the same noise before we even started coming up here, because me and Kyle heard it. I pretended I just didn't hear it. I was like, I'm pretending I don't hear this. Because I definitely heard it. And it was coming from up here. The second floor.
So just a minute ago, when I was standing at the top of the stairs, Jeff and David had already gone downstairs looking for the source of the footsteps that we heard. I was looking down at the little action camera so that I could get it set to put up in this room permanently for the night. And I saw out of the corner of my eye what looked like a bubble that was about this big. And it was moving down the hallway, down toward the other end of the hall there. And, you know, of course I looked in that direction. When I looked directly at it, I didn't see anything. But I've got good peripheral vision, so I know I saw this light white bubble moving. And Kyle actually mentioned that she thought she'd seen something out of the corner of her eye as well a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And you said, how did you describe it?
The same spot. It was by like there's a stool down there and it kind of moved. And my description was it was about yay high. But because it was in my side vision,
Mhm.
I thought, you know how like when you see an animal leave and you see their tail kind of just wave behind?
Right.
That's what I thought it looked like to me. It was just like
Yeah,
that wave of,
right.
of movement. And then you did mention also when we came back in the room, Linda, how you
Yeah,
felt.
another interesting thing that I mentioned was the fact that when we first came in this room, I feel terrible in this room. But after...
Wait,
Maybe still hearing something.
Anybody hear anything?
I didn't
No.
right now.
What did you, because I was talking.
Were you laughing?
The bear's on.
I didn't laugh at all.
How far is the bear from here?
On
That-
the other side of the house.
Yeah.
It's kind of quiet.
I don't think you
I don't
can.
think we can hear the bear.
I don't think you can hear the bear from all the way up
You're
here.
laughing?
I thought it was him starting to laugh. You know how
I wasn't
how
laughing at
sometimes-
all.
How sometimes we're like, and then I heard
Oh.
like music, like little music box music.
Really?
That just gave me
Whoa,
chills.
That gave me chills.
Is there
My
something-
That gave me
eyes water
chills.
chills.
Holy shit.
I thought
I swear to you, no, it wasn't. I didn't laugh.
I'm ice cold right now. My legs are chilled.
that's why I let it go for a second because I was like,
Yeah, I got
at first I thought it
goosebumps.
was you, and then I heard the,
Yeah, me
No.
too.
because I heard the, and then I heard like the
Music pop.
yeah, like down this way.
That's weird.
Do you,
I can
wanna
tell
check it
by
out
your
again?
face- I can tell by your face
Huh?
that you just heard something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the bubble. You saw that with your own eyes. That wasn't through a camera viewfinder or anything.
Oh,
No,
no,
that was
no.
her eyes.
Where did that go?
It looked like it went down this hallway, right? I saw it and it was right about here, and it was moving down this way. So it either, when it got here, it looked like it sort of disappeared to me. So it had to have gone into one of these rooms.
That's what I saw was it go towards the room you're walking into.
Like
right
this
now.
this used to be an old bathroom, and it's really not used as a bathroom anymore. But, and we believe that the room behind us was over here was a kitchen. So, I mean, these would have been actively used rooms in the day.
Yes, after this was used as a sanitarium, it was actually split up into apartments. So there were various people living here as well. So that's why some of these look like kitchens and such.
Right, and that certainly explains the latch, the door lock up here.
Wrong button.
I know, we saw a door lock on the inside of one of these doors that looked like it would have been meant to lock people in here, like lock people out, so nobody could come up. And so we were kind of wondering about that. But
That
the
would've been
use
for
of
the
the
apartment.
apartments
Yeah.
definitely makes sense for that.
Okay, so the question is, do you want to do something right here, or should we go down and immediately review that video footage?
I don't know, but I was saying earlier that it makes sense because right before we actually heard the footsteps, I was feeling
Is
terrible.
that somebody here?
no, that was, I just knocked into something.
Okay,
This camera here, can we pull up that footage from that, do you think?
we probably could, but I was feeling terrible in the room. After we heard the footsteps, I no longer feel like that in there. So
look at this
whatever was
footage.
in there moved down that hall, down the steps.
Let's look at this and see if we can figure it out. Because you can do the instant replay.
Yeah.
Want me
and it
to
might
cut?
not be fast. Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go downstairs and see if we can review, because we have the security camera here, the surveillance camera. And if Linda was standing here and this bubble was at the right height that she saw, we should be able to see it on the surveillance camera. So we're gonna go see if we can review that footage and then go from there. Alright, so we pulled up the part where Linda said she saw that orb, or that bubble, go down the hallway. And if we look at the screen here, go ahead, Linda, to that part.
We're not far from it right now.
Okay, and what you'll see is if you watch Linda, you'll see her reaction.
Yeah, you see Kyle go down the steps. Not here. You see me move over to the doorway. See, I grabbed the action camera.
And there you do see an orb go by.
Yeah, but that's not what caught my attention.
Right. Right there. See, so right there you see Linda look back at something. We do see a little bit of movement in the lower screen there. There was a little bit of movement down there. But not what she described. And this is interesting because whatever she saw couldn't be captured on our cameras. But you can definitely see her reaction to it. You know, this isn't something where she said she saw something and, you know, there's no... At least her reaction is evidence that you can tell by the look on her face and the quick reaction that she saw something go down the hallway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not... But our camera didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So, some interesting stuff up there. I think we need to maybe go back upstairs.
Yeah.
And,
Darn tootin'.
Yeah, see what happens.
Ever heard the bell People.
Yeah, that's interesting. We heard some noise coming from the doll room. That's something moving over there.
Was it the wind chime?
Yeah. So we wrapped up upstairs and we came down to what they call the seance room, because it's at this table where people conduct various seances. Now, before I get started on that, we just showed a little video. We just showed a little video of something dangling from the string in there that was moving, and it's still kind of going back and forth. Now, we're not sure what to make of that. We did hear various sounds that we're not sure we can differentiate between settling sounds or something that could be of a paranormal nature. So since we can't really tell what we heard, I think we'd have to chalk up to settling. What we've heard since we've been sitting at this table. But also I want to point out that this one window over here is open. So there is breeze coming through the room, potentially going into that room and moving the thing that was hanging from the string. But it's interesting because, I don't know, we heard the noise and then David saw this glistening in there, something glistening moving back and forth, so we didn't see it before that. But this is the seance room where visitors come to try to communicate with the spirits. They have various mystical objects here, if you will, including a pendulum, candles, salt,
Dowsing rods.
wet rocks,
Yeah, rocks in a bowl with some water or something. Not sure what
Hershey's,
that's about.
Reese's,
What's these?
milk
Rishi?
chocolate.
What's in there?
I don't want to touch it.
Is that bones?
Just
What the hell? That's
It's not-
bones.
No, it isn't.
It's like frog leg bones.
oh yes, little bone fragments.
What the?
So all right. So I didn't touch the bones, but
I'm not. Nope.
I did touch the
I don't want
cup.
anything to do with that.
It's a nice cup, but I probably wouldn't use it at this
There's
point.
magnets. Like there's a little container, a very small plastic clear container, and it has what looks like 3 batteries inside there, or magnets or something. And then the rest of it is like frog bones and dead flies and shit. Look at that. I don't know what kind of crazy witchcraft
That's
is
something you
going
put
on
in a
with that.
cauldron,
but-
not a Reese's,
Yeah.
not a Reese's mug.
Put
I
something
picture it more being one of those big
brew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your witch's brew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Let's do an EVP session here.
Yeah.
So we'll fire this up. It's fairly quiet. We may hear some noises in the background, and we can further analyze those if we do, tell if they're settling noises or not.
What the hell?
But our goal with this is to try to, we feel that when we're upstairs, whatever was up there may have come down the stairs, and that was the sounds we heard on the stairs, and it seemed to die down after that.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Got the recorder going. I'm Jeff.
Linda.
I'm
Kyle.
David.
Oh,
No, you're good.
Kyle.
David.
Aside from us, the 4 of us, is there anybody else here with us?
Could have been a settling noise.
Kitchen behind me has a set of stairs. Those set of stairs goes towards the basement. It sounded like wood stairs. Or a door.
A pop
Yeah,
on the stairs.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the wood popping.
Do any of these objects work to communicate with you? If one of them does, can you knock that object over?
Or move it in some way.
Now I'm not
You
going
see
to
that?
do this, but do you want us to use one of these objects? Do you not want us to be here right now?
Why don't we say an object? And if that object will help us communicate with you, you can knock somewhere in the room.
Twice.
So,
Twice good? You think
yeah,
twice is good?
Is good. How about
That way you'll help us differentiate from
Yeah.
the, settling
single
noises.
noise? Okay. How about the dowsing rods? The pendulum?
Whatever this is, it's back in this room with us
I
again.
feel it. I felt it before. I heard the noise in the hallway.
Because I'm getting that same feeling I had upstairs.
What about the bowl with rocks? With the crystals?
All right, so when I was sitting outside, on like I guess it'd be the right side of the porch if you're looking at the house, left side if you're in the house. I was sitting on the chair over there, and I literally sat there for maybe a minute, and then I hear a woman's voice like right behind me. And I was like, what is that? So I look behind me to make sure there's like nobody outside and like, the other properties over there. But I mean, it's raining pretty hard. So like, why would anybody be outside, talking? And there's nobody out there. So that's when I went over to you guys. I sat down over there. I was like, yeah, screw that. And then when I walked inside, she mentioned that thing earlier.
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm. It was like, because you said it sounded like somebody was having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I heard when I thought you guys came home, was two guys outside having a conversation. And then you said, hey, Kyle, look at that picture.
Yeah. If you look at the picture right behind Jeff, right there, where exactly I was sitting at, the rocking chair would be in this area. There's two nurses right there. On the other side, the doctors were over there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So his two men having a conversation where I'm thinking
Exactly.
you guys are coming back in the door, and his two women having a conversation over where he was sitting.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna venture down into the basement here.
Isn't that right? Oh, we're like TV. Good old TV.
Taco Bell?
Ah, you want some burger?
And this is the room where they did the cold bath treatment, battery bath treatment. And you can see the cement around the area where the original bath was. And over here on the wall, there's some pictures of what it used to look like, what it may have looked like. Alright, so we're going to do an EVP session down here and see if whatever was upstairs may have wandered down here. Did you hear something over there?
I did.
Yes, I did. To my left.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start that voice recorder there. Do we already have it going?
Okay, no, not yet.
Alright, but I'm going to climb into the bath here just to see if it stirs anything up.
This was me.
Okay, that's good that was David moving that. This is the very area. Seems a little more better back this way. This is the very area where people would have sat. Not the same tub by any means, but the same area, as you can see by the cement around here, where they would have had the bath treatments. Linda, what was the deal with those? Did you talk about the extent of some of those treatments?
No, I mean, I think that it was more of a holistic healing sort of thing than it was that you would think of as, them performing in something like an asylum,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. But the one that actually had, it would hook a battery up and use electricity to run into the bath doesn't sound exactly good.
Relaxing. Mm-mm.
Right,
No.
you know.
And I'm not sure what it looked like down here at the time, but sitting here right now, this isn't very therapeutic for me. Because the ceiling's kind of nice in areas right here, but I don't know about the rest of the basement. Maybe it was different at the time. I don't know. But we got the recorder going?
Yes, I have mine too. And Lynn,
Alright.
did you have yours on? The recorder?
Yeah, the digital voice recorder is going.
Do you need some bubbles?
I could use some. It's a little cold in this bag. The porcelain, or whatever this thing's made of, is actually pretty cold.
Sure, probably is.
It actually looks like a good sized tub though. Like, are your legs straight?
Not straight.
Not completely.
No?
No.
It looks, I mean, it looks,
No,
you
legs
know.
aren't straight.
Do you need some Epsom salt in there?
Oh, some bath bombs?
Yeah.
Something.
I heard a noise behind me. I can go
Yeah.
get the candles from up
I
top.
heard that click.
So we're gonna kick off the CVP session.
Something about to kick you out of that tub.
I'm Jeff.
Linda?
And David.
Kyle.
And we'd like to know what
Ready
your
to
name
begin.
is. Could you tell us your name? What kind of treatment was administered to you right here?
Was it optional? Heard a couple sounds behind me.
I wonder if that's water.
That's what I'm thinking, maybe.
Did you feel better after you sat in this bath?
Did you like the doctor
Really?
that used to put you in that bath?
What made you come here for help?
Is that you with us right now? Have you been following us all over the house? Is that weird noise again too?
No, that wasn't. That was the same weird noise.
There's a water heater back there. Could that attribute to it at all, you think?
Well, the clicking we heard over here, and then we also heard clicking over there too. Is that what you're referring to, the water heater?
I like the plunk.
Oh, I don't know. I do see 2 buckets that are catching 2 leaks though.
Okay.
What was this room like at the time you were a patient here?
Were you a patient that died in the house?
Welcome to the evidence review from our investigation at Wildwood Sanitarium, and I have to say this was definitely an interesting investigation. Starting out with this first clip that I'd like to bring you back to from the upstairs room. Now this was the 3rd floor room where there was an apartment up there at one time, and the people that lived in the apartment experienced a bunch of activity. They believe it's the spirit of an old man who passed in that room when it was used as a sanitarium, and his spirit still haunts the room. Now when we were up there, we stop in almost in mid-sentence because we hear what sounds like footsteps going down the stairs. So take a look at this video clip and listen to the sound one more time to see if you can hear these footsteps or what we heard that sounded like footsteps. So that way we'll get too much feedback. So definitely an interesting clip.
Absolutely.
It seemed as if something was there, that it was going downstairs to kind of get away from us.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to show you some audio clips now that Linda found in going through the audio analysis and see if there's any kind of voices or discernible evidence that we got from those audio clips.
This was one of those investigations where you really wish that you got a lot more evidence than you actually did. And walking away from it with as much activity as we had while we were there, we really did expect to get a lot. But unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot to be pulled out of here. Now, there were a couple of interesting things that I clipped out and saved. A couple of them were taken from this app that I have. It's called Spirit Box, and it's one of those experimental apps. You know, we just tried it out to see if we got anything from it, and we were kind of impressed by the things that were coming through. There were definitely some discernible voices, and the first one that I'm going to play here is one where where Kyle, the investigator, asked a question, and this was the response that we get.
Can you say one of our names?
Now, what you're hearing, of course, is her saying, can you say one of our names? But right before that, we'd also been asking, can you say your own name? Can you say your name? So it seemed that there was a little bit of a delayed response, because right in here, the first thing you hear is a fairly clear response, is Mike, and then a second or two later you hear Clayton. And you can hear one of the investigators say, Clayton? Like, is that what he said? So rarely do we ever get a full name. Usually if we get any name at all, it's usually a first name. But this one came through and said Mike Clayton. So we're not sure exactly who that is, if he was one of the people that was a resident there, or just some wandering spirit from the local community. But it sure seems like that was a pretty clear response. Now we have another response here. And this one was a woman's voice right at the very beginning. And I'll just let you kind of decide what you think it says. Now, it sounds like at the very beginning, the woman comes in and says, that's a lot, or thanks a lot, and a little bit later toward the end, there's another little clip of it there. So be sure to let us know what you think. Now, in addition to this, there were multiple other times when on either EVPs or through the Spirit Box, we got responses. Unfortunately, these responses were so quiet that when I took off the headphones and tried to play them through the speakers, you couldn't even understand them or couldn't hear them. One of them, to me, with the headphones on, sounded like it was a response to Jeff, saying, is there anyone else here with us? And the response sounded like a female saying, yes, sir. And this was when we were sitting on the second floor at the Seance table, is what we call it. So lots of other instances like that. In addition, there were other times when, like in the basement, when we caught on the audio, we were catching things like the noises, just unexplainable noises that were occurring around us, and the investigators were responding and hearing these noises, but we never really could pinpoint exactly what it was that was making these noises. So a lot of strange things like that throughout the investigation and throughout the audio.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Wildwood Sanitarium. And I have to say that I do believe if any place is haunted, Wildwood Sanitarium is haunted.
Yes.
It was definitely worth the trip to New York to investigate this awesome location. So thanks for watching, and join us next time. Until then, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linda.